Good day. My name is Deborah Watkins. I am a certified Christian life coach, and I help career driven individuals and creatives to break the cycle of starting over by overcoming self doubt, staying consistent, and achieving their goals to increase their earning power. We will work together to create new habits through exercises and action steps to be implemented and practiced. I'm also an author of 4 books, but the book that I focus on when I do these talks is From Mediocre to Marvelous: Get Out of Your Rut and Live a Fulfilled Life. Now, I want to give a shout out to my honeybees. That's my subscribers, and they know why I call them honeybees. And to ask that they will share this talk with someone. If they can share the talk, I would really appreciate that. And share with someone that you know needs to hear it. And also give me a like and also give me a comment. And even if you're not a subscriber, please give me a like and a comment. Let's have some conversation. So, what am I going to talk about today? Because for my last few talks, I've been talking about personal power, and that's an excerpt from my book. But what I want to talk about today is habits. Habits. And I want to talk about habits because it is February. February, and we have gotten through a storm, hopefully. We've gotten through this storm. But I want to talk about habits because the beginning of January, what did we do? The beginning of January, we made resolutions, right? Some of us, we're going to lose weight, or we're going to exercise more, we're going to eat right, we're going to not shop as much, we're going to start to save, we're going to pay off those credit cards. Yes, we're going to do all of those things, right? And then we get to mid January, and it's like, well, I'm going to start back next week. Especially if you did the exercise one. I'm going to start back next week. Oh, I done messed up on the eating, so I done blew that one. And but I'm going to keep talking about this, right? Because I'm not going to give up on us. Okay? I'm not giving up on us. We're going to get this right in 2026. We're going to get this right. Now, why do I say that? Because we have goals, and I'm going to take my glasses off because I see these circles in my glasses. And if you know, you know. But anyway, so this is what happens, right? We have a goal in mind, we have a vision, and we can see it. We can see it down the road. We can see what it is that we want to achieve, and we can see it sometimes very clear. And sometimes we can't see it clear, but we know what we want. We know what we want to do. And then it's the place that we're at right now, right? So between where we're at right now and that goal down the road is a lot of space. And you're looking at the big picture, and it seems overwhelming. It seems unachievable, but it is achievable. It's just a matter of habits that we have developed, right? Discipline, how disciplined we are. And that's a heavy word sometimes. We don't like that word discipline because then because it makes you feel inadequate. So let's just say habits, right? And I'm reading this book by a guy by the name of James Clear, and he talks about atomic habits. And it's a good read. And one of the concepts that he talks about in the book is the 1% difference. He says is a tiny improvement that can make a over time, he says it can make a astronomical difference, right? And he talks about 1%. He says if you can get better, and I'm quoting him, each day for a year, you'll end up 37% times better by the end of the year, right? And he looks at it as, these improvements as compound interest, right? For those finance folks out there and people who understand how money works and saving, right? Saving or how credit works if you don't pay, right? So let's talk about the positive and the negative. So the positive of saving, starting off little, right? Just still paying that little bit. Because what happens is because you're earning interest, right? Depending on the account, the type of account you have it in. And so it starts off small, but as you keep adding, even though it's a little amount, the amount that you're adding to is getting bigger. And then the interest is making it bigger, right? So that's what they call it, compound interest. Now, in the negative, if you have credit and you're not paying it on time, okay, and or even if you're paying it on time, you have a credit card and your interest is, this interest is crazy. They compound it daily, and that's why sometimes it seems like you can't even get it paid off because they're adding every day to it, a little bit every day, right? So it can work for you, it can work against you. Now, the Japanese have this concept. They call it Kaizen. And it's the same thing. They talk about the 1%, um, doing something better every day, even just a little bit every day. And one of the examples that I saw somewhere was they were talking about, let's say someone who wants to do push-ups, right? And let's say your goal is, I want to do, I want to get to the point where I can do 100 push-ups. And so you get down there on the ground and you realize that you can only do one or two. And so for some people, that would be a deterrent because you'd be like, oh, all I can do is one, so I'm not going to get to 100. So, okay, let me try something else. No. See, the concept with Kaizen is no, do the one push up, do it every day. Do one every day, 1%. Because eventually you're going to get so strong at that one that you're going to say, okay, I'll do more. I can do five. Okay. And then you do the five, very, very well. And then you say, okay, well, then I'll do 10. And then, and so it's going to start to compound with just the one, but you got to do it every day, every single day. Just get down there and do the one every single day. It seems small and insignificant, but over time, you get better, you improve. Now, I have in the family an industrial engineer. My son, I have two sons, and one of my sons graduated with a degree in industrial engineering. So he works in the manufacturing field and he's worked in a number of manufacturing plants. And he also studied the Kaizen concept, and he's considered a continuous improvement um, manager or person or whatever. I don't know what the title is, but that's usually what they hire him for. And he's worked at several plants because he's moved around a lot. And this generation, they're different from mine. Ours, those in my age group, we stay with a place for 30 years. Not these millennials and Gen Zs or whoever. If they feel like they want to go somewhere else, they gone, right? And then I'm telling him, ain't nobody gonna hire you, changing these jobs, changing all these jobs. Yeah, they're hiring us. So anyway, getting back to my point, he and I had this conversation about Kaizen because I would hear him talking on the phone with his coworkers, and when he was home, and I was like, what is Kaizen? Like, what are you talking about? What is Kaizen?" And then he explained the whole theory to me. And manufacturing is 1%. They want to improve on a area every single day. And so he says another concept. Now he said there was two ways to look at Kaizen. There's continuous improvement, and then there's rapid improvement, right? I don't want to focus on the rapid. But I just want to say for those of you who may know about it, and you're gonna be like, "Well, it's rapid improvement too." Yes, I know that. I'm not focusing on that today. I'm going to talk about the continuous improvement part. Now, what he explained to me was about what they look for as greatest opportunity. And what do we mean by that? What's that one thing that if you can get that improved, it will also have a domino effect in other areas? Because it's having a domino effect in a negative way in other areas. But if you can improve that one, you have to look for the greatest opportunity of improvement. And so we were talking about that, and he said because they call it a limiting. What is the limiting factor? What's the thing that's limiting everything else? It's a bottleneck? And I said, okay, well, how can we apply that to life? Like what's an example, that we can use in life? And he and I were thinking about it because we were talking about manufacturing. I said, but that's a good concept in life. The bottleneck, the greatest opportunity, the one thing that if we can get that taken care of, it will also have a domino effect on other parts of our life, right? So we talked about punctuality. Okay, for some people that's a problem, punctuality, and it's affecting their lives because, okay, so you're late for work, the supervisor says something to you. Now your day starts off bad. Okay, now it has a trickle effect. So now you're having an attitude all day at work, or and then you may be taking it out on coworkers or, whatever. And then you're feeling bad, you're feeling mad. You come home, you're feeling bad, you're feeling mad, you're still in your head. Your family is affected now, and so it's a domino effect. And if you could just get that right, right? If you can get the punctuality thing right. So 1%. So start off by turning the clock back 20 more minutes. However many minutes you're late for work, let's say you're always late 20 minutes or whatever. So turn the clock back 20 minutes, right? To make up for that 20 minutes that you're late, right? And do that every day. Do that every day. Be consistent, right? Or is it because you're fixing lunches in the morning for the children, right? You're fixing lunches for your children in the morning for school. Fix the lunches before the night before. Why are you doing them in the morning, right? Or you're going to bed too late. Okay, so now you're going to have to go to bed 20 minutes earlier. So you're not feeling so groggy in the morning that you don't want to get up and you keep hitting that clock. All right, what is the limiting factor? Okay, punctuality. Is this affecting it could potentially affect your income. You could lose your job. Then your family is not secure. Then your relationships are messed up. So that's the limiting factor. And if you can just improve 1%, the 20 minutes is 1%. So having said all of that, think about what's the greatest opportunity that you need to take care of that is affecting other areas of your life. And just do 1% improvement in that area, right? Let's say it's eating right. And so instead of saying, well, I'm gonna have this, total diet change. No, 1% could be just stop drinking sugary drinks. Just stop drinking sugary. Let's start off with that. Let's stop drinking sugary drinks. That could be the 1%. All right. I think that's enough. What do you think? Give me some comments about this area. Again, thank you, honeybees. For those who are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and share. All right? Okay. Looking forward to my next talk with you guys. You're going to like this one. It's on trust.